Okay, and hopefully a train doesn't come by either. So again, welcome to our Trio Day alumni panel, and I'm going to quickly share my screen to quickly introduce who our panelists are. And so they are coming from, have transferred or will be transferring to CSU or CU-Boulder. And first, we do have Kevin Ortiz, who has transferred to CU-Boulder, and he's in the Lead School of Business, getting his emphasis in marketing. He's going to be a marketing director, nonprofits for organizations. And he is working on search engine optimization for advertising for the Latino Chamber of Commerce. So you're going to have to make your introductions a little bit more exciting because I'm taking it all away from you right now.
Okay.
And then we have April Rosas, who is at CSU. Oh my goodness, Colorado State University, Fort Collins, go Rams. My alma mater, her soon-to-be alma mater. And she's currently working as a Trio navigator here for the program. And I'll stop there so she can talk about herself more. And then we have Sarina Pargas-Vega, who is an alumni currently working full-time for Front Range and concurrent enrollment. And she is going to transfer to CU-Boulder and has taken a class there already. So that is who we have with us today. And we do have some questions to set. So, but if you come up with any, feel free to put them in the chat or unmute yourself or raise your hand, and we'll go ahead and take care of that too. So our first question is, in some way, shape, or form outside of what I just did, please introduce yourself, your name, pronouns, transfer school, major, and I did a lot of that, so you can embellish in any way you feel like you want to. And we'll go to April first. I'm just going in order of who I see on my list.
Perfect. So my name is April, and I go by Shears Aya, and I am a Colorado State University student. This is my last semester here at CSU. I'm a Human Development Family Studies major, and like I said, I'm graduating this spring, and I'll be doing graduate school. So I'll be part of the Student Affairs and Higher Education program in the fall. Yeah.
And then we have Kevin.
Hey, my name is Kevin Ortiz. I go to the University of Colorado, and my emphasis is in information management and marketing. And I work at a internet marketing agency doing search engine optimization and digital advertising, and volunteer when I'm free at the Latino Chamber of Commerce. And yeah, that's about it. I don't like bragging about myself, so yeah, that's good for now.
Thank you, Kevin. And then Sarina.
Well, I love talking about myself. Okay, not really, but I mean, my name is Sarina Pargas-Vega, and I am currently in the process of finishing my transfer application to Boulder for CU-Boulder. My major is going to be international affairs with a focus in U.S.-Russian relations. I'm gonna basically be the president one day. Yeah, I currently, like Becky said, I work full-time now with Front Range in the concurrent enrollment department as the enrollment manager, and it is fantastic and I love it, and I have awesome coworkers.
Thank you all. So we'll go ahead and start with our first question, and we'll start with you, Sarina. If you could tell us your higher education and your transfer story. Did you always know that you wanted to transfer? Did you decide to? When did you or how did you decide to transfer? Picking the right school? Anything in that area above and beyond?
Sure. Okay. So I did not always know I wanted to transfer. So when I graduated high school in 2015, I went to Frederick High School, and I had early acceptance into MSU Denver, and I was super excited. And I went ahead and started there August of 2015. And it was a good school. It really was, but it just wasn't quite the right fit for me. And so I did struggle a lot in the beginning. And so I dropped out my third semester, took a semester off, and then I came to Front Range and was just much better equipped, had a much better support system to be successful there. So when I was at Front Range and everyone was like, where are you going to transfer to? I had no clue because at the time I was a history major and had no idea what I was actually going to do with it. And then I started taking political science classes and really found my passion there. And so when it came to looking for a school to transfer to, I'll admit CU Boulder was not at the top of my list just because I felt, I had my own preconceptions of the school, but then when I actually got to learn about the program they offer there for international affairs, I really did see many benefits to it. And then I had the opportunity to take a class there last semester, and I actually really did enjoy being on campus and meeting the other students and seeing kind of like what balancing out the workload I was going to be getting from there. And to be fair, it was one class, but it really did make me feel better about my choice to transfer to Boulder. So I would say just, when you're picking the school, don't do it based off, oh, well, this is the school's reputation. Just kind of look at the program you want to look that you're going into and deciding which program is going to be a better fit for you. And that's really how I would describe how I chose Boulder.
Thank you, Sarina. Kevin?
Yeah, so I went to Front Range right after my first career. I was a diesel mechanic before, and then I saved up a bit of money and left the the diesel mechanic job, and I enrolled in Front Range without really thinking I would ever go to a 4-year. And so I had the business transfer, but I didn't really ever think I was going to use it. And I kept on going until I ran out of money. And I was talking with Laura, who was my old trio advisor, and just basically I didn't really think I was going to transfer into another university, but she'd help me out with financial aid, help me out with scholarships, and sort of making me rethink it. And yeah, from there, I was like, Serena, I did not see Boulder was at the bottom of the list. It was so expensive. I didn't really hear good things about it, but I applied to all the universities and annoyed the hell out of financial aid and applied for every scholarship. And CU Boulder was one of the ones that just kept it was really close by. The amount of scholarships that they gave was incredible, and the program was really, really, really cool. So yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. And April.
Yeah, so my story is a little bit different. I always thought I was going to go into pre-health, and my concentration now is in pre-health, and I decided that I wanted to be a radiology major, and I knew that Colorado Mesa was the one that I wanted to go to, and I was so sure of it when I got accepted into that program, or not the program, but the school. And I decided to go to tour the campus, and I didn't realize how far it was. And I'm really family oriented, so I didn't think of how far I was gonna be from my family, and that I was gonna be all by myself over there, 4 hours away in Grand Junction. So when I toured the campus, I realized that I did not want to be there. I didn't want to be there alone. I really needed my support system. And when I got back from my touring campus, I talked to my previous success coach, which was Ellen Price, and I let her know what was going on with my situation. And she told me that I didn't always have to go away to go to college. I could go to a recent or close by school. So I decided to apply to CU Boulder, CU Denver, CSU, and I got accepted to CSU and decided to tour the campus. And then that's when I realized my sense of belonging to CSU. And that's when I realized that I needed to be here. I really love the environment, the community that's here. If you go up to a stranger and ask them a question, you're on campus, they'll happily answer the question. So I'm really glad I'm here. But yeah, that's how I knew that just my sense of belonging was my priority, like belonging somewhere.
Thank you, April. I'm glad you are all ending up in a place that feels right for you. That's so important when you're picking where you're going to school, whether it's the first time in finding Front Range or when you're transferring, that visiting and finding that space and place that does feel like home is so important, regardless of if it's at CU Boulder, that school down the street, or if it's Colorado State. They're both amazing institutions, no matter how much I joke about it. It is just joking. So for our next question, it is going to be, what has been the most challenging part about transferring and how have you overcome those challenges? And for this one, we will go ahead and start with Kevin.
Yeah, so it's been very challenging. That's an understatement. So when I started CU-Boulder, I was working part-time at the marketing agency, working like 20 to 30 hours a week. And then I was still working at another job too. So I was working 2 jobs, let go of the first job, and thought that was going to be okay. But the classes were a little bit more fast paced. So the first semester at the LEADS program, you have to take like a bunch of like prerequisite courses. And they usually recommended to take like 2. And then I think I was taking like 8 at the time. And so it was like really fast paced. And it was just a lot different than what you're used to because it's bigger class sizes. Professors have 600 students, so you don't really have that like that engagement with them. And it's just different. I mean, it's the same. Like it's not necessarily like harder. It's just a lot different in like the teaching and the learning and stuff. And so I ended up reducing the hours at my job and going to office hours a lot, which like helped me out a lot. And I feel like that's definitely like the hardest challenge, but now I'm good. And yeah.
Thank you. And we'll go with April.
Yeah, I second with Kevin on that. That was really challenging for me because on my first day, I remember my first class I walked in and there was over 300 students in one of the classes I had, my sociology class. And I wasn't used to that. I was used to having 15, maximum 20 in a class, and realizing like how many students were going to be in a class scenario, not getting that one-on-one with the professor was really challenging for me. But realizing that there is graduate assistants and teaching assistants that are there for you to support you when you have questions, or if you have to like miss a class and catch up on work, they're there for you. They have their own office hours, so I attended those. Another thing I'd probably mention would be probably building a different community, because when I was at Front Range, I was really involved in everything, almost everything. And just finding your own community and finding your own voice at a bigger institution is really important and powerful for you to understand, to ask questions when you have to, no matter how big or how small this question is, just ask it.
Thank you. And Sarina?
Well, I'm in the process of transferring, you know, so I will say for now, one thing that just stuck out because it was recent, like in the middle of my application, they want my high school transcripts, which were so long ago. I don't even have those anymore. But another thing that does have me concerned is like, I guess the level of support that I'm used to receiving at Front Range versus when I do transfer to Boulder. I was lucky that when I took the couple classes I've taken at Boulder, they were a little bit smaller, like 25 students, which is bigger at Front Range, but still like a manageable class size. And so I was able to have a relationship with my TA and everything, and that did help me a lot. Also, she made herself available for messaging, so just sending her a lot of messages. One thing I also did, as I quickly became friends with like the smartest girl in the room, and just like we would study together, and that helped a lot because she you know, like I said, she had it together. So I was able to just work with her and get to like keep up with the class and excel in the class, but also manage my time wisely through that. So I really would say this like time management was difficult, especially, you know, also I work full time, and that's always been a struggle of my whole entire college career. So I would just say, you know, what like I think what April said, really just making sure you find your community and your voice, it was a really important thing to help you feel more established on campus.
Thank you. Oh, and the things I hear with you all is asking for help and being willing to go to those office hours, which is sometimes hard to do. And then finding your community and finding your stride of what sometimes you need to let go of priorities to be able to focus on school. And sometimes that is a really hard decision, but it's an important one to make, to evaluate and prioritize things. So thank you for those answers. And the next question is, and we'll start with Sarina. How has being a trio scholar shaped the transfer experience?
And helped a lot, I think. You know, because Becky, I still come running to you with like a lot of my questions for transferring and like how to phrase things and recommendation letters, you know. So I definitely think being a trio student has supported me a lot, because I'm not, kind of like you said, not afraid to ask for help, totally okay with, you know, asking everyone around me, like, how would you do this? How would you, like, what is the best way I can manage this for myself? And trio, with the tutoring that we had, like, you know, just getting used to that, of just, I guess, really just getting used to taking advantage of those resources. And also, like I said, just trying to be on good terms with my advisor, I think has really helped me a lot. So that is a skill that I'm going to be taking to Boulder, just going to my advisor and introducing myself and making sure I get in good with her, with them, just to make sure, you know. But, so I guess that would be my thing, just not being afraid to speak up for yourself. Trio has given me that confidence to do that.
April.
Yeah, so being a trio scholar actually taught me so many things. 'Cause I'm a first gen, and I don't have that support system that at home to be asking those type of questions that I should be asking. So when I was part of trio at Fort Range, it was during the pandemic, which was a really different experience than from you all. It was also like when the program first started too. And I think having my support system with my success coach and then also with Becky helped me like be more confident in myself, like Sarina said. And like asking those questions that you never thought about asking. And even asking the question, I was so afraid of asking questions before. And being a trio scholar helped me with that, finding within my own voice and like being able to ask those questions. I don't know, it's an amazing experience going from that program to a different school, completely different school and environment.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah, no, being in trio like helped out a lot. Like I don't know if I would have been able to do it without trio. Like application process, like just knowing when the days for application, I would have never even like bothered like looking it up. But also like my coach like sort of like had me like come up with a game plan and sort of understand what I would want out of a college and what questions to ask, because all I really thought about was like the money aspect. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to afford this, like I don't know. But she had me like figure out my values. And like one thing other people were telling me were to like apply to like more like Ivy League schools and like other schools like that. But like April, a big thing for me was the family aspect and not wanting to leave my family. And so that was a huge aspect in the schools that I chose. And I chose all the universities that were like driving distance and sort of knowing like what questions to ask to, like when I would go to the schools or like ask questions or go. She also had like the like days where you would like visit, and I would went to like Boulder and CSU and like toured the campuses, and yeah, so I also kind of messed up a little bit because I applied to all the universities and I got accepted and had financial aid, and I messed something up, and I called Becky, just like freaked out that I was not going to be able to go to school. And so it was great to always have a support system, even when like you're already like out of school. So yeah, no, huge help.
Once in trio, always in trio. So we're always here to support you, whether you're at Front Range or at your university or working or beyond. We are here for you. So the next question is, how are you paying for school? And if you could talk about any scholarships that you found for transferring, and we'll go and start with April.
So for me, I think the biggest thing is FAFSA, making sure that's completed. I'm part of the Academic Advancement Center, so they offer a scholarship. And I know that we have the Wolves Rams. And if you qualify for that, there's a couple more scholarships for the CSU transferring process. You just have to make sure that you talk to your success coach about them and see the requirements you qualify for. I can't remember the other one. I think it's Reicher scholarships that they offer too. And then there's another one, I just can't think of it right now, but those are some scholarships that are offered. Personally, for me, the only ones I have is the Academic Advancement and FAFSA. I know that here they also provide you with, for example, for my program for Human Development and Family Studies, I took a lot of like child development classes. So they offer me a scholarship based on the classes that I was taking last semester. But there's like so many opportunities that you can get, and just talking with your success coach or financial aid can help you with that too.
And Academic Advancement Center is where TRIO support services is at Colorado State University. They just have it housed within a larger center that serves other students as well too. So, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm a nerd when it comes to this sort of stuff. I applied to like every scholarship under the sun at all the schools and annoyed financial aid, and Reicher scholarship, like at all the universities. You could usually find the Reicher scholarship, so I highly recommend that one. I mean, honestly, like a lot of the scholarships people didn't apply for, and so I had to like reject a lot of them from like a lot of the schools just because like no one's applying for them. And so if you actually take the time to like do the application process and set up your financial aid, set up your FAFSA and do all that stuff, like you'll for sure get some scholarships without really trying. But talking about Boulder, like Boulder had a lot, like the most out of all of them. And then another question that I didn't know to ask is, some schools do last dollar in, and so like CSU, you can't. I think you weren't able to stack scholarships, but Boulder allows you to stack scholarships. And so Boulder, I got the Share Scholarship, the First Generation Scholarship, the Transfer Excellence Scholarship, the Diverse Scholars Program Scholarship, and I think I just got offered another one by TRIO. So like again, you could like stack them, and yeah. So like if anybody like needs help, like I'll put like my email down like in the chat, and yeah, feel free to like reach out.
Sounds like it could be an alumni workshop on scholarship searching. You can do it virtual. And Sarina.
Sure. So part of the reason it took me so long to complete freshman year is because I've been working the whole time to support myself through school. However, the past 2 years, I was lucky. I got to benefit from 2 different scholarships. I benefited from one in a local one called A Woman's Work in Longmont, and they give scholarships out to just women who are in school and trying to support themselves, do all this other stuff, and they granted me a scholarship. I also had a repeat scholarship from the Latinas First Foundation in Denver, and that was an amazing scholarship. I would really recommend it to people. Their application just closed for this coming school year, but it'll be open again in December. But really, that scholarship, that organization really has helped me a lot. Becky knows their former executive director, Dr. Judy Bonaquisti, and she really does take to heart everything that she just gives her whole heart to the organization and to helping the students truly excel. For those are how I got my scholarships. I know for Boulder, I'm gonna have to rely on a lot of financial aid and more scholarships. So I was looking for their general scholarship application, as well as look more individualized scholarships throughout like the programs that they offer, because I know that individual programs will offer different scholarships. And I think what Kevin said is really important. A lot of people don't apply for scholarships, and just taking the time to do it, usually you're most likely you will be the only one who applied, so you will get the money. And also, like, even like I feel some scholarships that they want you to write like an essay, that can be a little discouraging. But what I would say is you never know who is reading your application essay. Like, you could be anyone. It could be the right person who needed to read it and be like, yeah, I want, this student is deserving of a scholarship. So it's always worth a shot to at least apply. Because I mean, at the end of the day, the worst thing they can do is say no. So it doesn't hurt to still apply for them.
And if it takes you 1 hour to do a $500 scholarship, you just make $500 in an hour. Like, when are you ever going to do that unless you like win lotto or are a CEO of a company or something like that? So, but that's how I look at it, is 1 hour of work for $500. That's pretty amazing.
One last thing on that too. Also, a lot of the scholarships have the same prompts. So you could write, like, I only wrote 3 essays. I only used 3 prompts, and I used those 3 essays for like all the scholarships, and just adjusted all of them. And so, like, yeah, like, you're not gonna have to write a scholarship for every single one, like a new essay for every single one. You could use 3 basic template ones, and then from there just modify it. So yeah. Yeah.
And the Writing Center is a good resource to have them review. Other than us, we will happily review your essays. And we have some faculty who are like, yes, I want to work with students on scholarship writing. So we have some advocates around us to help with that as a resource too. So the next question is, what skills have you found to be the most valuable in transferring to a 4-year program? How do they differ or build on the skills that you learned at Front Range?
Is it okay if I go first? Because I have to go in a
Yeah,
second,
go ahead,
and then I'll dip
Sarina.
out. I'm so sorry. Thank you, by the way, for letting me be part of this.
And
skills
add any advice you have too.
Sure. Okay. So skills I have, I would say the biggest thing for me is self-advocacy. That really has helped me so much with all of my college stuff. Just being willing to like go, just go, like, and say when you need help, what, or aside from academic support, I need help with like financial support. I need help with like, also being first gen. My family wants to provide support, but they don't know how. So like being able to just ask for support in whatever manner you need it in has played a huge role in my success with college and everything, and how to college. And then another thing I always tell people is I don't think it would work out the same with the professors at the university at the 4-year level, but I would say just make it a point to introduce yourself to your TA or your professor if you can. Just put a name to your face, like put a face to the name. Sorry, I'm like just totally speaking ridiculously right now, just like rambling. But I always feel like introduce yourself, because I feel like it's a lot harder to fail a face than it is to fail a number. So, just put yourself out there and be willing to go out of your comfort zone. That's something I've had to learn, because I hate going out of my comfort zone. And normally I am very shy. I may not seem like it a lot of times, but it's because I've had to practice that a lot. So just be willing to learn about, you know, how to be a self-advocate for yourself, a self-advocate, and how to be, you know, just kind of pick up some confidence along the way. And honestly, like a little bit of fake it till you make it. And that's probably the best advice I could give. Again,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. I
No.
gotta go, but thanks again. I appreciate it.
And we know where to find her if you have other questions.
Exactly. You know where to find me. Thank you. Bye.
And then we'll go with,
I'm sorry, what was the question again? Advice for planning, right?
you could do both of them at the same time if you want to. So what skills have you found to be the most valuable in transferring? How do they differ or build on the skills you learned at Front Range? And then what advice do you have for students who are planning on transferring? And they're in the chat.
Oh, that would have helped out. Okay. I mean, it's the same. I feel like it's in like many ways, it's the same as Front Range. There's not that many skills that you have to learn. It's just different in the like, it's like bigger classes. You have to be a little bit more like self-advocacy, I guess the good term. And so asking questions is like a little bit harder because there's like hundreds of students in your class too. But I don't know, I feel like you don't really need it. Like if you've made it this far, if you're about to transfer, then you're good. It's just gonna be like different.
And any advice?
No, I feel like I got it.
April?
Keep killing it.
So funny. So the skills that I have figured out, like being here at CSU, is actually to learn how to network. It's something that's really important if you're planning to go into like grad school, like I was planning to go to, or I am. So networking definitely is a big one. So you can have the that support system, like I mentioned before, but also like know people that can not only just speak on your behalf, but in case of you need like a letter of recommendation or something like that, they know you. And like Sarina has mentioned, putting what you say, like putting the face to the name or name to the face, something like that. That's really important too. So introducing yourself to your professor is something that I noticed is really important, because compared to a 15 student class compared to a 200 class, it's completely different, and your professor will not know you if you don't introduce yourself on the first day, or at least the second day. As long as you introduce yourself is really important. My advice for students who are planning on transferring would be definitely take a tour of the campus before you actually make the decision on transferring, because like I did, I toured the campus at Colorado Mesa and realized it wasn't meant for me. And touring the campus here at CSU was something that was really important and helped me make my decision.
Thank you, April. Are there any questions anybody has? You could either unmute yourself or type it in the chat or anything like that. It could be from anybody. Kevin, you can ask questions. April, you can ask questions. Beck, you can ask questions. Anybody.
I'm sorry, could I like ask questions to the people that are here?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Beck or Alex, if you guys want to talk, like what year are you in at Front Range, and like are you planning on transferring any schools, if you mind?
For me, I am a sophomore going to my junior year next year at Front Range, going for the Bachelor of Applied Sciences at Front Range for GIS. And yeah, I would like your email, Kevin, for scholarships.
Definitely.
And I'm actually the new Trio Success coach at
Gotcha.
BCC. But I would also love your email to learn about scholarships. And I actually had a question for y'all, which is, I don't know, you kind of answered it, but just out of curiosity, so when you arrived on like the campus to your university, who were like your like main advocates when you got there? Because it's so big. Did you end up like going to your advisors? Was it sort of the TRIO program that you relied on, or were there other folks who helped kind of guide you as you got there?
Mm. I'll go first. No, there's a lot. I had so many. Becky connected me with a few people. Other people connected me with other just like random people like around the campus. So I like even before going to the school, I had like 6 or 7 meetings with like different people that already go there. And so I felt like I felt like I had a lot of different people that I can rely on if I had any questions or things like that. And also the scholarship programs were like really, really helpful. There's this one called Share, and then they had like a class just for transferring. And they kind of like force you into that class. They're not forced, but like it's something that you have to do. And so yeah, no, there you have a lot of support.
For me, Becky also connected me with a couple of people here. And as soon as I arrived to Colorado State, I already had my appointment made up for my academic investment center, which is TRIO. And they connected me with El Centro, which is a Latinx club here. And my family actually, it's only students who have transferred from a different school. So that's what has been my support system ever since I've gone here to CSU. And also my advisor, she has helped me a lot throughout, and then she decided to leave. So then I got a new advisor and they decided to leave. So then now I have a different advisor, which I have not met, but I'm hoping to meet. But they're really good about like connecting with you, making sure that you create your appointments with them, so you're on track of like your major. And also my professors, they have been amazing, understanding, and all the everything. They're like my support system whenever I need to. Definitely Dr. Walker with early childhood development. She helped me with my letter of recommendation without even like knowing my full story. She made that meeting with me to like actually help me to like know who I was and understand a little bit about myself. So that was something that I love about them.
Anybody else have any questions? And then Nicolas said that he's getting an associate in science and he does plan on transferring. Other questions? Either way.
I got one for you, Becky. What do you feel like is like the common thing that you hear of students that like transfer? As in sort of like, is it usually pretty good? Is it like usually pretty hard?
I think it just depends on one, if they ask us for help and guidance, because sometimes students will jump into the transfer process because they know that's what they want to do, and we don't know where they're at necessarily. So definitely letting your TRIO coach know where you're at so we can support is always important. And I think the culture of the four-year institution, I think, makes a big difference in the transfer process too. When I first started at Front Range transferring to the university, no matter which one it was difficult. But I think the four-year schools are now making a greater effort in supporting community college students transferring to the universities. Like the transfer advisor role didn't even necessarily exist previously, and to have those are amazing. So I think those are some of the things that play a part in it. And I think knowing what those next steps are after applying has been a challenge too, because even I've read through some acceptance letters with some of the students, I'm like, I don't even know what you're supposed to be doing. And so we will get on the phone together or email and see and talk to the person at that institution to see, oh, that's what you're asking for. So I think just language and the jargon and knowing that, because we're new to this transfer process and trying to understand that it has been a learning process for staff and students at the same time. So I think those are some of the things I've seen. And always scholarships, financial aid, tips, tricks. I know, Kevin, when I would meet with you before you transferred, I'd be like, you blew my mind of everything you knew and how you found everything and everything you did. So I was like, whoa, it was amazing.
Cool.
Anybody have anything else? Any last words, Kevin or April?
Put my email in the chat. Feel free to message me about anything. Yeah, glad to help.
Yes, if anybody has a question or anything, feel free to stop by my office. I'm there usually on Wednesdays and Fridays. Other days I'm either at school. That's all I do. So, or you can email me too, whatever you need from there.
And thank you both so much for sharing your story and taking the time to answer our questions. And I'm so proud of where you're at, what you're doing, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.